As a parent, one of the biggest challenges that you probably face is when your 12-year-old suddenly refuses to listen to you, and there's a lot of rebellion. Very often, this gets referred to us for counseling, and you look at it from the lens of the medical model where you believe that this has to be diagnosed and fixed through counseling. However, it makes a lot more sense to look at it from the developmental model where you realize that your child is now suddenly trying to seek an adult identity, something that's different from you, something that's unique to them. And there will be rebellion. When you look at it from the developmental model, it becomes much easier to be supportive, and also it helps us as parents understand what changes we need to make while our child is transitioning into adulthood. Between the ages of 12 and 26, the brain is undergoing tremendous change structurally as well, and the body is going through hormonal changes that are extremely challenging for our child transitioning into adulthood through adolescence. Now at this point, we need to understand that there will be a lot of changes in their behavior and in the way they interact with us. This is where it's important not to fix the problem, but to build the relationship. The first aspect of this is to understand that control and discipline, as they were believed earlier, do not work. Structures and routines definitely work, which means having regular habits help. The most important habits that we can bring about are in the sleep habits, ensuring regular nighttime sleep. 2, exercise. Boys require about 350 minutes a week of physical activity, and girls require at least 250 minutes a week as physical activity to be able to balance out the hormonal fluctuations and changes. Apart from this, a well-balanced diet definitely goes a long way in helping them. Reducing screen time as much as possible, of course, goes without saying, because it's an extremely important rule when we need to build relationships. The next aspect, like I mentioned, control and discipline don't work. So what works? Connection and affection definitely work. So for this, we need to understand that we need to set what's called a connection ritual. To be able to build upon any relationship or to build any relationship, we need to set aside time. It doesn't just happen overnight, which means if you want to build a relationship with your teenager, you need to ensure that you make at least 15 minutes of time every day, and you set a connection ritual. Now this has to be a ritual which both of you enjoy. It cannot be watching TV together. It can be baking together, cooking together, playing shuttle together, going out for a walk. It must be something both of you enjoy. And you could have a rotation of activities if you feel that helps. In this, you don't advise, you don't lecture, you don't go into this moralizing and lecturing and all of those things. It's a time where both of you as equals enjoy the company of each other and understand that you're able to communicate without the help of a third person or somebody else mediating on your behalf. Very often in many Indian families, what we notice is the child is not comfortable speaking to one parent and so uses the help of the other parent to communicate. And after a point, they realize that the parents tend to gang up against them, and therefore the relationship cuts off, or they end that relationship, and the communication becomes extremely functional, where they're just talking about whether to have dinner together or something like that. A good connection ritual takes between 3 and 4 weeks to build. So give it that much of time and realize that it's a beautiful step forward. Once connection is set, we move to communication, and the first rule in communication is always clarity. Be very clear what you wish to speak about. And when you sit down to communicate with your teenager, choose one topic of interest for one period of communication. So don't take diet and friendship and gadget addiction all in one go, because it becomes very overwhelming for them. Choose one topic. Let them know that you wish to speak to them about this particular topic. So let them know what the topic is, and set a time, preferably 24 hours later, along with them, a time that's comfortable and convenient for both of you. Keep your appointment, because what it does is gives them this feeling that they're extremely important. And more importantly, when you give them 24 hours, it gives them that much time to prepare their side of the discussion. Let them speak first. It's always important to model listening for your teenager, and therefore let them speak first. And if you're working with a boy, it's always good to walk along with him, because what happens is boys are spatial processors, and therefore when they move, they tend to assimilate information, reflect on the information much better, and also take it to application much easier. If you're working with a girl, don't sit face to face, sit beside her, because it becomes easier for her to listen to you, to reflect upon what you're saying, and also not get intimidated by your facial expressions or any changes in your facial expressions. When you're listening to your teenager, a very important aspect of what you can do is to take notes. Let them know, this point that you mentioned is really significant. I'd like to bring about those changes. Because what you're trying to let them know is that you genuinely value this relationship and that you would like to bring about change. It also lets them know that when they value a relationship, some changes may need to come from their side as well. Once this is done and they've spoken, you can bring up your points as simple, short and clear as possible, and make them action steps together. So let them know, these are things that I would like to change based on what you told me, and these are things you've said you'll change based on what I've told you. How do you think we can make them 3 or 4 action steps, and set action steps for each other? Follow it up definitely at the end of a week and give each other feedback on what has worked, what may need change. And do this every week for a period of 4 weeks. It helps you bring about change and also remain supportive of the changes that your teenager is making. Once this is done, you will start realizing that the quality of your relationship changes over a period of time, because both of you are changing, because both of you are connecting, both of you are valuing each other, giving each other feedback, and also taking action towards a desired goal or a particular direction. When we set the connection and the communication through this simple process, 1, we enhance the quality of our own relationship with our teenager. We make a great attempt at understanding their development and supporting them through it. But most importantly, we pave the way for all future relationships, making them healthy, modeling for them the importance of listening, the importance of initiating change, and the importance of giving feedback. I hope this video was useful for you.